In this video, we'll be taking a look at 6 NBA matchups, and I'll break them all down with free winning picks so you can bet smarter and win bigger. But first, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get our picks the second they drop, because when the lines move, the early birds cash in. And if you want the full winning sport picks experience, head over to wspicks.com and check out our VIP packages, or grab a free consultation with one of our professional sports consultants for the sharpest edge you'll find anywhere. That's where the real plays live. We are your bookmaker's worst nightmare. These are the games we're hammering, the ones the books can't afford you to bet. This is Winning Sport Picks. The free picks are about to drop, and they're coming in hot. Denver versus Indiana gives us a matchup built around pace control, with Denver laying 7.5 and Indiana catching 7. Denver tends to rely on structure and steady possessions, which helps them protect leads when the number is this large, while Indiana usually needs faster tempo and streaky bursts to stay within range. The total around 235.5 signals expectations of consistent scoring, but Denver generally shapes these into more methodical games. I like Denver to cover the 7.5, and I like the game to stay under the 236. San Antonio versus Orlando features Orlando laying 6 and San Antonio catching 6, and this line reflects a trust gap in consistency across 4 quarters. Orlando tends to perform better when they dictate tempo through disciplined defensive sets, while San Antonio often depends on short offensive runs that don't always scale over a full game. With the total near 233.5, scoring should flow but not spike, and the side with steadier structure usually benefits. I like Orlando to cover the 6, and I like the game to stay under the 234. Portland versus Cleveland shows a tighter gap numerically, with Portland catching 10.5 and Cleveland laying 9. Cleveland is built to handle slower-paced matchups with a defensive edge that allows them to build separation gradually, while Portland tends to be more dependent on rhythm that can fade on the road. The total around 237 suggests a moderate scoring environment, but not a pure shootout. I like Cleveland to cover the 9, and I like the game to go under the 237. The Clippers versus Atlanta comes in with Atlanta laying 3.5 and the Clippers catching 4.5 depending on the book, and this kind of swing line usually points toward the home team having the steadier late-game execution profile. Atlanta generally operates better when they set the early pace, while the Clippers are more volatile possession to possession. The total around 229 indicates controlled scoring leaning toward a matchup where stops matter more than spurts. I like Atlanta to cover the 3.5, and I like the game to stay under the 229. Charlotte versus New York gives us New York laying 9 and Charlotte catching 10, and this reflects how the market views each team's ability to sustain offense. New York often thrives in games where they can control pace and grind out possessions, while Charlotte tends to need faster rhythm to stay competitive. With the total around 236.5, scoring is expected but not extreme, which favors the more defensively reliable side. I like New York to cover the 9, and I like the game to go under the 237. Brooklyn versus Chicago rounds out the slate with Chicago laying 8 and Brooklyn catching 8. Chicago usually performs better at home when they can create controlled mid-range scoring and limit turnovers, while Brooklyn's volatility makes them vulnerable to extended droughts. The total sitting near 233 paints a picture of steady scoring without runaway pace. I like Chicago to cover the 8, and I like the game to stay under the 234. Now listen to me, those are the free picks, but the one game I am unloading on tonight, the game that's going to crush your bookie's soul, that's the VIP play of the day at wspicks.com. This is the nuke, the hammer, the max bet, the one play I've circled, the game that will bury your bookmaker 6 feet under. When it hits, and it will, your bookie is going to need a doctor, a lawyer, and maybe even a priest. If you want to ride with me on the biggest bet of the day, get to wspicks.com right now. For the recap, I'm rolling with Denver minus 7.5 and the under, Orlando minus 6 and the under, Cleveland minus 9 and the under, Atlanta minus 3.5 and the under, New York minus 9 and the under, and Chicago minus 8 with the under. A slate built on defensive edges, pace control, and matchup-driven advantages. This is Winning Sport Picks, where we don't just bet, we bury bookmakers. Smash that subscribe button, drop your favorite plays in the comments, and hammer that like button like you're hammering your bookie into the dirt. We're cashing, we're dominating, and tonight we're dancing on the grave of your bookmaker. Let's go!